guys, welcome to my channel. Vicki Lemons here. So this video is going to be about marital tips. Being married 22 years, being with my husband in my teens, my teens, my 20s, my 30s, and now in my 40s, you know, we change. They change, we change. So some things that have worked for me and him along the way, or him and I along the way, you know, is something to be shared. I feel like married couples should stick together, especially when we have tools and tips that we feel may work for someone else. Number one, trust. That's a big one, right? Trust. Well, if you can't trust your partner, what do you really have, right? At the end of the day. So, how do we build trust? We build trust by doing what we say we are going to do and not doing what we say we are not going to do. So if you say you're going to do it, do it. If you say you're not going to do it, don't do it. Then that's the end of that. That's what we do. Number two is love our partners the way they need to be loved. Love our partners the way they need to be loved, not the way we need to be loved. Take the 5 love languages test. You can find that online. Read the book. Read the book together. Also, ask your partner, how can I better love you, show you love? How do you like to be shown love? That if that's the way that they like to be shown love, then that's the way that we should show them love if we want them to be loved to their fullest potential, right? That we can do. And also, don't be afraid to also allow your children to, if you have children, to take this love languages test as well, because it's interesting to see how we probably aren't loving our children the way that they need to be loved as well. So if you have children, think about doing the love languages test with your children as well. But learn to love your partner and the people in your circle the way that they need to be loved, not the way that you need to be loved. And I guarantee you, once you start loving them the way that they need to be loved, they will then see you doing that and they will reciprocate it back to you. Number 3, resentment. Well, this was a big thing for us a few years ago, because even though I did things to feel accomplished along my 41 years of life, once I got married, I was definitely held in my mind by traditional standpoints. You know, the man brings home the bacon, the wife cooks and cleans. And I'm naturally domesticated because that's how I was raised. So that was what I always wanted to be. I always wanted to be a mom and a wife. But as time went on and my husband's career took off, he was flourishing, which was great because I know he couldn't have done it without me. But then at the end of the day, what did I have to show for it? What did I have to, I didn't have a retirement. I didn't have anything to show for it. So some resentment started setting in because I didn't have my own goals, long-term goals. I had short-term goals, and then I would start to climb and succeed, and then every time we would move, we were a military family. Every time we would move, I had to start over. So I resented that as well. I resented the fact that I had to be the one to always restart everything I was doing and rebuild myself, and he didn't have to. So resentment can set into a relationship, and what I have found is, and it did come into my relationship, and what I found is that I was resenting him for something he had no control over. He had no control over me not excelling. That was me choosing to not keep myself in the forefront. I chose to put him in front of me. I chose to put the children in front of me. And so, you know, one thing I will say how I got out of that is I now put me in front of them, my family, because it's important for me to fill my cup to be full, so that when I do have to give them, I don't leave me empty. I still have some reserve. Okay, so I have my own goals. Keep your own goals, individual goals, daily, weekly, monthly, and then long term. always be working on you. I'm always working on me. I'm always working on how I can be better and do better, so that I don't get resentful about where I am in life. So resentment, work on you, create your own goals, individual goals to set yourself apart from your partner so that you don't create resentment in the future. Number 4 is manners. Please, thank you, can you please, may I have. We don't bark orders at our partners. We don't bark orders at each other. I don't tell my husband what to do. I ask my husband. He does not tell me what to do. He asks me. And if I'm available to do it, of course I will. If I'm not, then I'm just not. What are your interests? And here's the thing. What your interests are now, probably, I've been married 22 years. So my interests as a 19-year-old are not the same as a 41-year-old. So my interests have changed. And it's important to constantly be so in tune with our partners that we, even if you don't like what they're doing, it's not part of you, like, that's not your jam, right? But it's their jam. So we at least find time to know what the other one is doing, encourage the other one, be a little interested in what's making them excited, because it is your partner. I think, like, wouldn't I want to know what's making my husband happy? Wouldn't I want to know what's going on in his world? So that's how I look at it. Your interests, because they change over time, and the things that you probably used to do together as a young couple, you probably, one may change and they may not like to do that thing anymore, and then the other one still does. Well, you have to find some sort of common ground. But interest, always kind of check in with each other on what the other one is interested in, just to stay in tune with each other. We all change. Kind of like the last one with interest, change. Okay, as I said before, I am not the woman that my husband married. Every day I wake up, I choose to be whoever it is I want to be that day, and vice versa for him. If he chooses to wake up one day and says he wants to stop what he's doing now in his career and change and be something else and be someone else, guess what? I have to choose to decide if I want to continue with that person or not. Me, I choose to love whoever he wakes up to be, because he is embracing who he feels he is at the moment, and that's okay with me. And vice versa, he does the same with me. But change is inevitable with most people, especially when two people are living their lives together and life happens, right? People change, but you have to decide every day. It's a choice. If you want to love the person that your spouse or your partner becomes, who is your partner going to be tomorrow? That's the person you have to decide today that you'll love. I'm going to love who my partner becomes tomorrow. This was a big one in the first, I would say, like, 12 years of our marriage, because when we first got married, we did everything kind of separate. He paid a lot of the bills, but then I had my little bills, and I always, worked. I was a student, and he was in the military. So we lived really comfortably, and we didn't have any children until we were married about 7 years. So that's how we pretty much did things until then. And then once we got pregnant with my son, almost 7 years later, I didn't work. We did a military move, so I stayed home. And so my husband took care of all the bills. It was kind of like just easier that way. But then my husband started getting deployed. And so now I have to take on the child and the finances and everything. So we still kept things separate. I just paid it all. But then now he comes back from deployment, and now that's not working, because now I'm used to doing everything. I'm used to handling things. And now I'm like, well, now we need to kind of change things up, So we did. And this is where some conflict came in, because he was used to doing things the way he did before he left. And now I was used to doing things the way I was doing them while he was gone. So we butted heads for a little bit on that issue. And now where we are is, and this has been for a little while now, for probably at least the last couple of years, we sit down with each other on the first of the month and we pay all of our bills. And then we go through what else needs to be done, and that works for us right now. The moral of this story, the finance story, is do what works for you. And and I encourage you to revisit what you're doing and make sure that the both of you feel that it is working best for you at the moment. Because you may decide in 6 months, I really thought that this part of what we were doing is good, but the way this is going, I want to kind of change that up. That's okay. You don't have to do things the same in your relationship, the entire relationship. Find what works for you. We've had to go through many changes in how we do many things, but finances in particular, to figure out what works for us. And right now, this works for us. No hitting below the belt. I know some couples play like that. Oh, you your fat self, or oh, with your small boobies or whatever. No, we don't play like that. And that's just what we don't do. I know, look, it's our relationship and this is what we just choose not to do. I feel like words are very strong, and words, even if in a playing tone, can hurt people's feelings. So we're not in the business in our family of doing things to hurt each other's feelings, especially intentionally, because even though it's in a joking manner, you're jokingly intending to insult me. So we don't play those games, because it's a fine line. It's like no, we don't hit below the belt. Therapy. I am a big advocate for therapy. I think that everyone should have therapy, not just if you're in a relationship. I think someone should always be there, ready and available to listen to us when we have things going on inside of us that we can't either explain, we can't express to someone in our circle. We just need to get out. We just need someone to listen. I think that therapy is the best, and I think that there should if in a relationship, there's nothing wrong with me having my own therapist, my husband having his own therapist, and then us going to therapy together. I have my own therapist. We have done couples therapy together, and it is nice to have someone who can have an objective view of just the information that they're hearing and give you tools and techniques to be able to work through it. I will say, make sure it is a licensed therapist. We, in the past, went to our church officials and things in the past, and I kind of regret doing that. Because they weren't licensed therapists, and they're basically just giving you their opinion. They don't really have the tools that it takes to give you the proper way to go about decision making in your relationship. Okay, but therapy, I 100%. Even Grace, he is not the person to make me be the person that I was created to be. That is on me. And it is on him. It is on him to become his best version of himself. It is my job to encourage, to lift up, to pour into positively, right? But it is not my job to save him, to be there to do it for him, to be the one who makes it happen for him. He has to do it on his own, just like I do. He is not my saving grace, and I am not his. Freedom! Freedom. We need freedom in our relationships. We need freedom to be the person that we were created to be. And that does not, once you get married to someone, that is not who you are going to be with for the rest of your life. You are going to encounter multiple versions of them through many years, hopefully, of marriage. And so just imagine, don't look at it as a negative thing. Just imagine if you're pouring into each other properly, just imagine your person will become in 10 years through love, trust, laughter, all the great things, right? Imagine what your person will be and who your person will be in 10 years. That's just someone that you'll get to love even more, who as they become themselves, because very few people really are truly in tune to who they really are. So if you're not in tune to who you really are and you get married now, and it's two of you not in tune to who you are, and I pray that you discover that at some point. Well, now that's an entirely different person, but the person has to be free to discover that. Otherwise, resentment sets in, and then people, they leave relationships feeling like I felt stifled. I couldn't be myself. I needed to flourish. Flourish in your relationship. Be free to be who you are individually in your relationship. I am brutally honest. I used to say sometimes to a fault, but it's not a fault. It's not a fault to be someone that people know. My husband knows if he doesn't want to know the truth, don't ask me. My children know if you don't want to know the truth of how she feels, then don't ask her. Don't ask me if those pants look tight on you if you want me to say no, they don't. I'm not that way, and we have learned to not be that way with each other, because if you can't trust the ones you're closest to be honest with you, then who can you trust? I'm not your yes man. He's not my yes man. It took him a little while to get that way, because he's naturally, not even naturally, he was the type of person to be very catering. Like he's a people pleaser. I'm not a people pleaser. I like to see people happy. I love to see people fulfilled, but I'm not a people pleaser. People don't become fulfilled in the best versions of themselves by telling them what they want to hear all the time. You have to sometimes be that bad guy, right? You have to be the person to give it to them straight for them to be better, for them to grow. So we encourage each other to be honest with each other at all times, even if being honest with them is, for the next one, saying, you're not giving me your best. I need more. You know, we think sometimes, well, I'm giving my best. Sometimes our best is not good enough. Sometimes our partner needs more. Sometimes our partner needs us to dig a little deeper. Maybe take a class in XYZ. Maybe learn from a book author or something to communicate with them the way that they need. Sometimes we have to do better. Sometimes what we are doing is not good enough. So be okay with your best not being good enough all the time. And then that's a choice that you have to make now is, do I want to grow with this person and try to become a little bit better in the area that they need me to be better in? Or, man, I don't want to be with them anyway. What I got to give right now is all I got to give. And then the person that you're saying that to has to say, oh, well, if this is all you have to give, then those boundaries. If these are boundaries that are set, like, this is all you have to give me, and we have agreed that there would be a different outcome or better, then you have to decide if you want to stay or you want to let values. My husband and I are so different. I mean, night and day. But where we connect the most is our values. And that is why we are the type of parents we are. That is why we have the type of relationship that we have and has had as long as we have. Because we value the same things. We value family. We value loyalty. We value trust. We value respect. We value communicating with each other and trying to figure out each other. And we value each other as an individual. I would never ever intentionally do anything to hurt him, and I know he wouldn't to me either. So we value the things that matter. TV shows, what we like to eat, all that stuff, that who cares, right? We value each other in the things that really, really matter. Oh my gosh, create boundaries. Yes, you are married. Yes, what's his is mine and mine is his, but that has nothing to do with me as an individual. I still need you to abide by certain agreements that we create together. Deal breakers. Boundaries. What are your deal breakers? Create deal breakers in the beginning if you can. And if you are already in a relationship and you just feel like, you know, they just keep pushing me, like pushing the envelope with what they're doing, that's because there probably wasn't clear boundaries set. And if there was and they're still doing the behavior, well, then the punishment is just not happening. So my husband and I have 2 deal breakers. And these are the 2 things that no matter what, I'm out or he's out. And those 2 things are cheating and hitting. The hitting, because there is no reason for you to, or me to, put my hands on him or him to put his hands on me, unless, you know, it's in a loving way. Other than that, you need to communicate how you feel with your words, not your hands. And I don't believe in women hitting on men and men hitting on women. I believe in when someone puts their hands on you, it is time for me to defend myself, so then I'm going to put my hands back. And vice versa. If I put my hands on him, then he should be in the mode to defend himself. It is not my right to put my hands on him, and it is not his right to put his hands on me. So that is a deal breaker. The day that would ever happen, which I know it wouldn't, that would be time for me to say, I'm out. Okay? The next thing, cheating. People stay together after cheating all the time. Remember, this is our marriage. These are our deal breakers. These are our rules. Cheating, because we do not have the type of relationship where I check his phone, I go through his mail, I go through his email. We have built such a strong trust with each other over the years that we don't, these things aren't even something that we think about. However, cheating is not acceptable in our relationship. I don't want to be the type of person that checks his phone, that has to worry about where is he at, who's he with, is he doing this, is he doing that, and he doesn't want to be that way with me. And even though people do have successful marriages after cheating, I'm sure it takes so long to rebuild what was knocked away. That's just not something that I want. These are my standards, and those are his standards. And those are the 2 things that will not budge for me. And he knows that. And he knows that I'm the type of person that will be out in a heartbeat if those 2 things are ever violated. And anything else, we can work on it. Those 2 things, they're deal breakers. Those are my boundaries. Those are his boundaries. And it just is what it is for us. Settling. This kind of teeter-totters off of boundaries, but settling. As I say in this video, I met my husband at 15. I am 41. There was a lot of things he did for me throughout the time that needed to be adjusted, you know, in my 20s, in my 30s, and for him in his 20s and in his 30s, that I had to do for him. Because we are not the same person, and I'm not going to settle for, I think about it like this. If I, right now, as a 41-year-old woman, were out in the world looking for a man, what would I want in that man? Well, is my husband that man? And if those things that I need, he doesn't have, but like if I need more romance and it's something that I just need, well, and he doesn't supply that automatically, then I need to let him know, give him tips, show him videos. I need to do whatever I need to do for him to try and be a little bit more of what I need as a 41-year-old woman. Now, I'm not trying to change him, but we can teach our partner what we need, because things change. The things I needed at 15 years old, I don't need at 41 years old, and vice versa. So, settling. I don't settle. I want my man to be everything I want my man to be, and he wants his woman to be the same way. So we just don't settle. You know, we expect each other to be our best. We expect each other to work hard. We expect each other to live our dreams and goals and to be kind and loving and considerate. There's just a level that we created, and we don't go below it. And we also expect that the other one is like, hey, if the level gets a little low, like, nah, bruh. Let's get this together, okay? You know, we gotta express how we feel to the other person, because they may not know what my level of settling is, may not be his. Our levels are different, so he has to communicate that to me, and I have to communicate that to him. Date. Man, if you don't date your partner, well, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but my man dates me, and I make it known to him, and that's piggybacking off of settling. I make it known to him that these things are important, and it is for him too. He loves to go out on dates as well, and we do fun things like escape the room, or sometimes we go get food, sit in the back seat of our car, put something on the phone in the back, and we had, like, they were doing like concerts on a social media platform. We would watch a concert, eat our food, chit chat, you know, a little lovey-dovey time. We are the kind of couple, we actually really love spending time together. We really do. We are really, I know couples say that's my best friend. And I know there are couples who feel that way, but I know there are couples who don't quite get it like how we are, because we are truly like if he wasn't my husband, he would be my friend. We are just truly best friends. So we enjoy spending time together, and we enjoy dating, and we actually purchased a massage table online. I'm telling you now, that was one of the best investments to my couples out there. No, we are not masseuses, but guess what we do? We go online. We watch tutorials on how to better serve our partners. We take date night very seriously, as far as not the cost, but the intention behind it. So date your partner. You'll thank me later. Have fun. Oh my gosh, have fun. My husband and I were married for 7 years. Almost 7 years before our son was born, because we had miscarriages. He was our 5th pregnancy. But before that, we traveled. We went parasailing. We went on cruises. We went to Hawaii. We did so many things. We went and played at golf, you know, the mini putt-putt, and went to the batting cage, and we did so many things just as a couple. But we also do a lot of fun things as a family. We have fun. We have game night. Our family is like so super competitive. We love to go against each other, like in a fun spirited way. We all love game night. We all love little competitions. We love encouraging and supporting each other. We love having fun. We love to laugh. We love a lot of the same movies. Have fun. Have fun in the ways that you like to have fun. Have fun in your relationship. Don't assume. They don't know if we don't tell them. We don't know if you don't tell us. Don't assume that you know how your partner feels. Don't assume that you know what your partner likes. Ask them. Ask them, is this what you like? Is this what you want me to do? Is this how I make you feel? Sometimes, especially for us in our relationship, we've been together a very long time, since I was 15. So we finish each other's sentences a lot. We think we know what we're going to say, but the operative word there is think. We think we know because we have been together so long. But remember, if we go back to how people change and the way they think changes. So what you think you may know about your partner, you probably don't anymore. So always ask. It's better to be sure than to assume. Don't assume. Just listen. Did you like my Beyonce voice? Just kidding. Listen to your partner. Listen to your partner without trying to respond. Listen to your partner just wanting to receive what they are asking you or telling you. There's a couple of, we were big, especially in the beginning of our marriage, and we still are. We just haven't found one that we enjoy so much that we're consistent with. But we used to do, when my husband was in the military, we used to do a lot of the military workshops where they would do couples retreats. And they would have like counseling and different tools you can use to enhance and strengthen your marriage. So we would always go to those things. And they were actually pretty fun. And one of the tools we learned, one of the tools we learned that we still use today is that when there's something that you feel like you're trying to communicate and it's just not getting through to your partner, then write it down and read it to your partner. And your partner can't respond while you're reading. The only time they can respond is when you're done reading to say, I have heard what you said. They can point out a few things that resonated with them, as far as, I heard what you said. I hear you telling me that I need to work on blah, blah, blah. I hear you telling me that you need more blah, blah, blah. Also, what the workshop would suggest is that in particular, tell me what you heard me say. Tell me what you heard me say, because sometimes people miscommunicate. I still utilize that tool with my husband and with my children, because sometimes we think we're communicating clearly and effectively, and maybe the person receiving it is not hearing what we are trying to say. So write out what you're feeling, write it down, read it to them. Your person cannot respond, only to say, I hear you, I will try and be better. I hear you saying that, blah, blah, blah. And if it's okay, and if you feel like what they just said is okay, like it's resonating with them, then you just say, thank you. You fold a piece of paper up that you just wrote all your feelings on, and you give it to them. And you let them sit with it, so that if that problem happens again, you say, can you please go read that letter? I feel like it's like we need to revisit this issue. So that has helped us in the past, and it is a great tool. Please tell me what you heard me say. Okay? Next one. Respect each other's privacy. This ties into number one, which is trust. If you don't trust your partner, then you're not going to respect their privacy. I like my alone time. I like to be off in a little corner sometimes just by myself, clear my head, because I'm always thinking, I always got something going on. And also, with respecting privacy, going through phones. My husband's phone isn't my phone. If I need to see something on his phone, or I need him to send me, like I don't know, whatever. I very rarely need to see anything on his phone. But if, say, I need help, like, can you find my phone? Can I use your phone to call my phone? To find my phone? I don't just grab his phone and take his phone. I say, can I use your phone to call my phone? I respect his privacy. That's his phone. That's not my phone. I don't need to go through his phone. I trust him. There's nothing on his phone that I need to see. So it's his property. It's his things. I don't just go through his things. He doesn't just go through my things. We have learned over the years that we need to respect each other's privacy, even down to my purse. A long time ago, he went through my purse for something, and that really upset me. And now, even if he has to get the keys to my car, if I ask him to start my car for me, he will say, I need to go in your purse. Is that okay? And that is something that we developed over the years. You know, we aren't perfect. And these are tips that have actually helped us, that we still utilize to this day. And that's why I am sharing them with you, because maybe they will help you. Creating new normals. My family is not the one that I created with my husband, with the grace of God. Is not like any other family I know at all. My family is a direct manifestation of the family that I wanted as a child growing up. I am the type of mother that I wish I had. My husband was handpicked by me, and the Lord, of course, he sent him my way to be the father of my children for a reason, so that we could create new normals, create what it is you want to have in your family, in your relationship. You and your partner, you're a family. You are creating a family. So even if it's just you two, you are a family. And so if you didn't like the things that of like how you were raised, then don't bring those things into your relationship. If you the things that you did appreciate and like with how you were raised, bring those things into the relationship and then build on that. But create new normals. It's okay to have a relationship not like anyone that you have ever been around or ever seen. Create what you want and create new traditions with your family. With our children, we do game night. We do once a week. We have a sit down where we it's Bible based. It's morals based, values based. We just pick a topic and we alternate between the four of us every week. My daughter does it one week, my son, my husband, and then me. And we pick a topic. It could be being the best you that you can be. And then that person, whoever's in charge of it that week, will do a, put together something, some sort of presentation and share it with the family and ask questions. And we do supporting scriptures. This is what we do. Remember, this is our family. You do what's best for your family. But this is not something that we grew up doing. This is not something that we were taught to do. We created this environment for our family. So create new normals. Be okay with creating something that you have. Maybe you've always wanted it to be in your relationship. Well, then create it. It's your relationship. My number one tip. Our marriage, our rules. My marriage is not dictated on how, Jim and Bob across the street are doing their marriage, or how fancy schmancy pantsy over here are doing their marriage. Our marriage, our rules. If my husband and I want to go to the strip club and we both agree that's where we want to go, that's where we're going. If my husband and I say, we want to be intimate with multiple people and that's what we agree on, our marriage, our rules. If we say, nah, none of that's happening up in here, and we agree, our marriage, our rules. Anything you agree upon, you commit to, that's what goes in your relationship. And don't be afraid to revisit those things that you agreed on and that you commit to, because not revisit them by breaking the commitment and breaking the agreement. Revisit them as we get older and grow in ourselves and in our marriage and in our relationships. The things we used to want to do, the things we didn't want to do, all those things change. So don't be afraid to revisit and say, I didn't care for that back then, but I might be interested. And if your partner says yeah and y'all agree, okay. If your partner says, nah, it's not my thing, okay, drop it and ask them, would you mind if I revisit this with you in the future? Or is this something that is just no-go right now, forever, or whatever? Don't, communicate with each other about how the other one would want you to either bring it up or not bring it up, because some things are just really sensitive and some people don't want to speak about certain things. It makes them feel uncomfortable. And so you don't want to change the dynamic of your relationship. You don't want your communication to go wrong. You want it to go right. So your marriage, your rules, whatever you want to do in your marriage, and you are in agreement. Last but definitely 100%, definitely not least, be the partner that your partner deserves. Be the partner that your partner deserves. Think about your partner and think about if they were out in the world. What type of woman, man, or person would they deserve? Now, are you that person? Are you the best person for your partner? And is your partner the best? Is your partner the partner you deserve? Is your partner giving you everything? Are you giving your partner everything mentally, physically, intimately that they deserve? Because My husband is such a wonderful, wonderful person. If he was not with me, and this is not just because we are married, you will learn with me is I don't just say things to say them. I say them because it's how I feel. My husband is a wonderful guy. He's just a great guy. And if we were not married, he would just be my friend because he's just a great guy. And he deserves a great woman. He deserves a great woman, whether it's me or not. He deserves a great woman. But I also deserve a great man. So we work at being great for each other as well as ourselves, because he deserves a great woman and I deserve a great man. So that I will say, are you being the partner your partner deserves? And if you're not, it's time maybe to start working on some things. Ask them, what do you need that I'm not doing? That's the first way you can, that's the best way to find out anything with your partner. Ask them. So, yeah, so if you have any tips, let me know. And if you get anything from this video, please let me know. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I am so thankful for all of you, and God bless.